This is Voice of Change Radio News. A pleasant day to you. I'm Amanda Kumalo. Thank you for joining us. Our top stories in this bulletin. First Lady engages Japanese rice experts, discusses Nerika rice production in Zimbabwe. In business news, a global steel giant shows confidence in Zimbabwe. In regional and international news, without gas-fired plants, SA faces decade of blackouts. In sports news, brilliant Lions of Teranga, Africa smiles as Senegal cruise into last 16. The news in detail. Zimbabwe could soon embark on large-scale Nerika rice production amid indications by Japanese experts that they are willing to work with Agri4She patron Dr. Xulia Mnangagwa in making this possible and enhance the country's food security, empower women, and reduce the need to import the cereal. Nerika, new rice for Africa, has been developed through crossing African rice species resistant to disease and drought and Asian rice species high yield potential with the assistance from Japan. Dr. Mnangagwa held separate meetings with Mr. Tatsushi Tsuboi, an expert in rice production for Japan International Cooperation Agents, during which she made a humble request for the Nerika rice production initiatives. Defense and War Veterans Affairs Minister Opamuchunguri Kashiri has said Zimbabwe has critical skills gaps but suffers from a brain drain due to unjustified sanctions. Thus, the country has to embark on human capital development. Human capital development is one of the 14 priority areas under the National Development Strategy 1 (NDS1). In a speech read on her behalf by Deputy Minister of Environment, Climate, Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Barbara Ngozi, at an annual graduation ceremony of public speakers at the Management Training Bureau in Masasa, Harare last week, Minister Mchunguri Kashiri appreciated the innovations by the department in skills development. Moving on to business news, Zimbabwe stands ready to welcome more investors from across the globe for win-win outcomes such as the development of the country's rich mineral resources and the multi-billion-dollar steel mills and steel industry in Mvuma, President Mnangagwa said last night as he witnessed the steel deal being expanded. The mega steel project being implemented by global steel giant Tsingshan Holdings Group of China in Manise will accelerate sustainable economic development, accelerate social development by creating large numbers of jobs, and help the regional and continental modernization and industrialization agenda. Last night, a supplement to the Memorandum of Understanding between the government and Tsingshan Holdings was signed in the presence of the President to further develop and expand the mining operations, including expansion into lithium and the setting up of cement works. Mines and Mining Development Minister Winston Chitando signed on behalf of the government. A look at what is happening beyond our borders. Wärtsilä, a Finnish company that makes power plants, expects South Africa to face electricity outages for at least another decade unless it installs as much as $8 billion worth of gas-fired generation capacity. The outages stem from state power utility Eskom's failure to adequately invest in new capacity and the maintenance of 14 operating coal-fired power plants. The energy shortages have been worsened by the slow ramp-up of its two newest plants, while Eskom and the government have said that gas-fired plants will be needed as the country transitions from coal Environmental rights groups oppose prolonging the country's reliance on fossil fuels. Renewable energy companies say the country could use batteries that store power generated from wind or sun instead, but there are questions about the feasibility of using that technology. Power cuts are set to increase markedly until 2026 before upgrading for several years as Eskom's Medupi and Kusile coal-fired power plants come fully on stream, according to the Wasila study. It foresees the energy crisis intensifying again in 2032 as older plants close. And finally, in sports, Kalidou Koulibaly's nerveless volley sent Senegal into the World Cup knockout stages for only the second time in their history as they eliminated Ecuador 1-2 at a Road Khalifa International Stadium yesterday evening. That ends this news bulletin.
Voice of Change News.